Summer vacations are the best, but sometimes the photos you take of that magical trip don't quite capture the magic. You know what I mean? So today, photographer Farley is here to share advice for taking perfect photos on your next family adventure. We're loving you because very few people have the cute factor that they can carry. Their name actually rhymes. That's adorable. You've got great photos. You've got great advice. My question is, families tend to kind of groan and moan when they're constantly being pulled in for that group shot, especially when you're out and about and enjoying the fun of vacation. Why should you really push for it?
So it's definitely worth it. You know, when you pull the family together, you're creating those memories that you wouldn't have otherwise, and you can't recreate those later. It might be a pain to pull everybody together, but in the end, you won't regret it, right?
So it's worth the mom campaign that has to go on every time that camera comes out. Let's start by talking about your favorite photo backdrops on vacation. There's the quintessential touristy, like Disneyland sign, and the beach shot. Help us go beyond that and see potential in what's out there. What do you like to look for?
So I like to look for interesting things, right? But I also like to look for areas that don't have a ton of distractions, right?
Okay.
So you really want to make sure that when you're taking pictures, you don't have, you know, trash cans in the background, and you're trying to find something that you can actually focus on your family, right? And where they are and what they're doing. So
your eye is scanning that backdrop for the details, the garbage cans, or what about people? I noticed not a lot of lingering people are behind you in some of these shots.
Yeah, so there's a couple things you can do with that, right? So sometimes there will be people, but if you just change your perspective a little bit, then you can kind of block people out, you know, get a little closer to your subject, and then just kind of get a little lower or whatever the case is. And by doing that, you can eliminate a lot of the people that are in your photos.
So you move, because heaven knows all of those tourists aren't going to move for your photo, but if you adjust your angle or your perspective, that can help.
Yeah, getting your family set and then just moving from there.
What about staging a group photo? And I use the word staging loosely because, of course, we're in the moment, we're enjoying the moment, we're present, we're having fun. It's not like we're going for a perfect kind of artsy arrangement, but give us some quick on-the-ground tips to where we can pull off a unified-looking group.
Yeah, so when you have your group photos, sometimes you can use signs, right? You can go on the sides of signs, you can go around them. You want to make sure that you don't cover the actual sign.
So they're your anchor.
Yeah, exactly. So the sign is kind of the anchor, but you can also use monuments and things like that. So if you have, for example, a waterfall or something, you want to make sure that you have, you know, say there's a waterfall here, you want to position everybody offset from that.
Okay.
So that you can see both the waterfall and your family. Otherwise, you end up with pictures of your family in front of the waterfall, and you don't see the waterfall at all, right?
Which the waterfall was part of the memory.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, all right. And I think that the signs, the anchors, the waterfall, they help people kind of naturally gravitate to where they need to stand, where they need to go.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially on an extended family trip, for example, to get everybody looped in on the photo.
Definitely.
But you do want to remember everyone who was there. Any tricks or tips on that?
Yeah, so I typically suggest, you know, just grabbing a stranger, utilizing them, because, you know, if you're at a national park or something, grab a ranger. If you're at a restaurant, just ask your waiter or waitress.
I tend to look for a millennial who knows how to work my smartphone better than I do. you know?
Just grabbing anybody. You know, people are generally pretty open to just helping you out.
Yeah, I find that as well. Rotating people in your party, one behind the camera, they move in. You suggest that too. What about timers? Are you a fan of timers on vacation, taking the time to set that up and rig that out?
Yeah, sometimes there's not somebody, right? And you just have to use a timer. And so I will use timers occasionally. You know, a lot of phones have them built in. You know, iPhones all have it. A lot of Android phones have a timer for 5 or 10 seconds. And that can really help you to get that shot if there's no one else around.
Are you using tripods on these shots? They're so even-steven and well composed.
Yeah, so you can use a tripod, but you don't always want to lug that around, right? So you kind of have to get a little creative sometimes. So you can use a post, something stable. In some situations, I've put a camera on the ground. It just really depends on what you need to do.
I've got a bird bath on my front porch that has become our permanent Sunday photo stand, right? Like, we know just how to prop up the photo, set the timer, try to wrangle the 2 little kids, right, in proper order and snap. So those timers, those tripods, those tools can come in handy. They really can. Lighting can be hard during the summer season. Any quick tips about lighting?
Just really, the best thing you can do is make sure that your light is equal. So either you're in full sun or you're in full shade. You don't want any dappled light or anything like that. And if you need to, just make sure that you pop up that flash. That extra flash can add some highlights in the eyes, and it can make your picture a lot better.
Now, I'm looking at some gorgeous photos. I'm assuming were taken with a fancy schmancy DSLR camera. Is that true?
Yes. So I always bring a DSLR on vacation with me, but you can always use, you know, your camera, your cell phone, point and shoot, whatever. The best camera is really the one that you have with you. but you know, you are going to get better quality from something like a DSLR or a point and shoot over a cell phone.
So you think it's worth lugging that extra piece of luggage around with you on the vacation?
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's kind of debatable and you're like, oh, why did I bring this with me, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, it's always so worth it to see those pictures at the end and know that they were the best that you could have gotten.
All right, great reminders appropriately as we're setting out, you know, to vacation this summer season. If you want to see more of your work, where can we do so?
So you can find my work at pearlsandlacephotography.com. I'm also on Instagram at pearlsandlacephoto, and I'm on Facebook as well.
All right,
So.
thank you, Carly. Thank you so much.